You're bluffing. Nobody's hand is that good.
Humans are terrible at reading faces that don't have pores.
My name is Tomas Reyna. I was a cargo technician on the long-haul trade vessel Halcyon Drift, which meant my job was mostly fixing things nobody else wanted to touch and staying quiet during diplomatic transport runs. 3 weeks ago, we picked up a passenger listed only as VIP Transport Confidential. I found out on day 2 that the VIP was Sarah Velon, second daughter of the Ashari Dominion's ruling house, traveling in secret while treaty negotiations happened somewhere I wasn't cleared to know about. What I wasn't told, and found out by accident, was that she'd slipped her security detail 4 separate times in the first week just to explore the ship. The first time I met her, she was hiding in the cargo bay behind a stack of crates, still in her formal traveling clothes, watching my old maintenance droid, Bolt, roll around fixing a coolant line. She asked me 43 questions in 20 minutes. I counted, because I was mostly answering with, "I don't know," and it seemed important to track how badly I was failing. By the second week, she wasn't hiding from me anymore. She was hiding with me. She'd show up at my bunk after her scheduled appearances were done for the day, wearing whatever plain clothing she could borrow that didn't announce her rank, and she'd ask to play whatever games I knew. Cards, mostly. She was terrible at bluffing and worse at losing gracefully, and I found both things unreasonably charming. "Your mother doesn't know you're here," I said one night, the 4th time she'd slipped away. "My mother doesn't know a great many things," Sarah said, not looking up from her cards. "That is generally how I prefer it." I should have said something responsible then. I should have told her that a princess of the Ashari Dominion sitting cross-legged on a cargo technician's bunk, laughing at his terrible card bluffing, was not a situation that ended well for the cargo technician. I didn't say it. I dealt another hand instead. What I didn't know, what none of us knew, was that Sarah's security escort had reported her missing 3 hours earlier, and that Sovereign Ashari Miravel, her mother, had been informed personally. The Dominion did not lose princesses quietly. Not even accidentally. Not even for one evening of card games. I heard the corridor door hiss open before I saw her. Sarah's laugh cut off mid-breath. I turned, card still in my hand, and found myself looking at a woman who filled the doorway with the kind of presence that didn't need volume to be terrifying. Tall, pale, blue-skinned, dressed in dark battle-worn armor despite what should have been a diplomatic escort assignment, her expression a controlled wall of nothing. "Sarah," Miravel said, and her voice was quiet in the way that made everyone in the room go still. "You have been missing for 3 hours." "I wasn't missing, Mother," Sarah said, setting down her cards with more composure than I felt. "I was here." Miravel's eyes moved to me. I felt them like a physical weight. "And who is here?" "Tomas Reyna," I said, because it seemed important to say my own name before someone else decided what it meant. "Cargo technician. She's been safe the whole time, Sovereign. I'd have contacted security if anything seemed wrong." "Nothing was wrong," Miravel said, "except that my daughter vanished from a secured vessel 4 times in 2 weeks, and none of my personal guard could locate her, and you are telling me this is because she was playing cards." "Yes," I said. The silence that followed was the longest 10 seconds of my life. Then Sarah stood, and something in her posture shifted, not defiance exactly, but a steadiness I hadn't seen from her before, like she decided the conversation mattered enough to stop hiding behind humor. "Mother, I have spent 2 years in rooms where everyone watches what they say around me. Tomas doesn't do that. He tells me when I've made a bad play. He tells me when I'm wrong. Nobody in the palace has told me I'm wrong about anything since I turned 16. Miravel's expression didn't move, but something in her eyes did, a small recalculation, the kind I imagine sovereigns learn to hide early. She looked at me for a long moment. "You are not afraid of me," she said. It wasn't quite a question. "I'm terrified of you," I said honestly. I just didn't think being terrified was a good reason to make her feel small tonight. Something that might have been the beginning of respect crossed Miravel's face, gone as quickly as it arrived. "The escort detail will be doubled," she said to Sarah. Then to me, "And you will be present at her sanctioned recreational hours. Officially. So that I do not have to hear about this from security reports again." Sarah's mouth fell open. "Mother, that is my decision," Mirabelle said, already turning toward the door. She paused once in the frame, looking back, not at Sarah, but at me. "Teach her to bluff properly, human. She embarrasses the house otherwise." The door closed behind her. Sarah looked at me, delight breaking across her face like sunrise. "Well," she said, picking her cards back up. "Deal again." I did.